I've got a new toy. It's a desoldering pump. Now, I've used a standard desoldering pump for quite a while now. In fact, it's one of these. And I've been watching people swap out CPUs and how they've been doing it. And they've had very expensive desoldering pumps like this one. But that's way too very expensive for me. I've also seen some that are built into a soldering iron, and it's just a manual suck pump, but the soldering iron heats the end of the pump, which is different from these, where you have to hold a soldering iron and this and the thing that you're unsoldering, and then push that violently springs back, normally making you do that. And so it's not the easiest thing to use, because you need two hands, or indeed helping hands. So I found this thing at about £20. As you see, it's in fact, I don't know what it actually is. I'm just going by the picture. So, oh, look at that. Okay, so there is a cleaning thing for the nozzle. There is a hideous power plug, but okay, we can deal with that in a minute. There is a depth adapter, and somehow you have to clean this. So I'm assuming that you turn this on and it heats up, then you push that and it begins to suck. So let's see whether it does. As I'm about to use the depth adapter, this might be the last video you ever see. Indeed, you might not ever see this. Right, so that's plugged in. So I'm assuming that to begin with, it's just going to get hot. Can't really tell. Shall I push the button? Whoa! Oh, okay. Ha 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 ha! So it still makes a violent click, but you see me jump then. But whoa! I thought this was going to be a pump inside it that was continually sucking, but no, it's a manual. Well, no, it's must be some kind of solenoid there. How exciting! So is this getting hot? You can feel a little bit of heat coming out. I suppose the best thing to do would be to get a little bit of solder. And oh, it definitely smells hot now. You're not going to be able to see this, but let's see whether if I put a bit of solder on, anything happens. It's going to take a while to warm up, I'm sure. But look at that. That is quite violent, so I don't know whether it's the other one I've seen. This one sounds a bit like a goldfish pump when I've seen other people using them. All right, well, nice bit of smoke coming off, but is it coming off this bit yet? Where's the smoke coming from? Well, the smoke's coming from there. I mean, the first time you use a soldering iron, you always get smoke because the oil of the manufacturer burns off, and whatever other horrific things that they've put on it in manufacturing burns off. I'm getting very hot down there. All right, is it hot enough yet? Oh, there you go. Right, and then that must, oh, little bubble there. Can I do this? All right, so, and then a little thing where I can clean him out, then burn my fingers with it. Right, so what to do? Come here, trusty broken Commodore 64. I'm going to do something horrific with you. Right, let's get some new chips, a new dill socket. This chip here is an NE556, so it's a double, I think, 555 timer. And this morning, and I think that may be faulty, it might not be, but if the circuit's not oscillating, that would be the cause of it. So I'm just going to change that chip out anyway. Previously I've changed some other chips out on this motherboard. I've changed that one, I've changed over here. Whoops, another. I think that was another type of oscillator as well. But I hear this one is quite important, so I want to change that one out. Now previously, that's the one I changed out, which I'm quite pleased with my soldering on that, although now it's less shiny, it does stand out where I've done it. But anyway, it's that 556 chip there. So previously, ones that I've previously pulled out, even to test, and I've put a socket in, that was definitely a Duff memory chip. But this one, I'm not sure whether this was wrong, but it was one of those that was suspect from the board. But when I pulled this one out, it destroyed. When I pulled the original one out, it destroyed it. So I have to wait till I buy a new chip. What I'm hoping is by using this and then socketing them, I can have. Oh, it's still on fire. Look, by using this and socketing them, I can reuse the chips if I take them out and they are working. So that's the plan. So that one's coming out. And looking at it, it's these two sides there. So I'm just going to, someone showed us this. I'm going to just write that in the middle of it, just so I know what's coming off. Let's see how this unsolders. Of course, these chips are bent over that bag. So in I go. And bump. Woohoo! Jump straight off. Okay, I don't think that's hot enough yet, so let's try again. It's better. I think maybe what I will do first is charge up my normal soldering iron, and I'm going to just run some fresh solder on this to make sure it's melted from both sides, I think. Although, actually, I'm not sure whether you can see this. I might zoom in here. The bulk of the solder's gone from that now. Okay, so that should have done that, and let's add a bit of flux. And now you might not see this, I might have to do this a completely different way to actually get access to it, but let's try anyway. Oh, lovely. Hey, this is working great. So the chips legs are bent over, so I'm having to come in from the side, bend it upwards, and then doof. Oh, this is great. Honestly, this is so good. Right. Definitely helps having a bit more solder on just to get the heat down to begin with. Okay. That was pretty good, although it did seem like it was splattering solder everywhere. So what I'm told the best thing to do now is to just touch all of the legs just to make sure that they're free. Okay, so that looks promising. You can definitely see the holes there, so that's worked quite well. Oh, there you go. A little bit of leverage with a screwdriver underneath, and out it comes. Seems to be okay, and I don't seem to have picked up any tracks. Well, there's a little bit there that looks a little bit disturbing. That may well be a usable 555 timer still. So for £20, that isn't as bad as, well, this is a good substitute for one of these, which isn't £20. Suppose you want to see me fix this now, don't you? Looks like I might have lifted up. Yeah, I have. In pulling it off, I have broken a few tracks here, so I might have to just put a botch wire on that on the back. That one should match with there now. Okay, and it should just go straight into there without incident. can actually test these pins afterwards to see whether they work and just test for continuity across them. Right, so that goes in there okay. Well, one thing, let me just have a look whether the underside needs cleaning or not. Okay, give it another clean. And after the video, I'll look close up at that and just check that I've got no joined tracks there. Right, so let's just see whether I have completely ruined those tracks. I'm looking at those two to see whether I've still got continuity. So let's try. So it's one, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth one up and the third one. Okay, so I have lost continuity there as I thought I would. The second one goes to there, that still works, and the top one goes to there, so I'm all right there. It's just these two that are joining, or should be joining, that don't want to, so I'll have to fix that underneath. But anyway, there's my solder sucker, and that's replacing the chip with it. And although it wasn't perfect, it is an awful lot easier than using a separate solder sucker and a, well, yeah, awful lot easier than trying to use the board and your hands and everything. So not an expensive investment and a lot cheaper than one of these.